Persist, to forget ahead, to forge ahead despite opposition, misfortune, and criticism. Persist, to forge ahead despite opposition, misfortune, and criticism. Persistence is a character what carbon is to steel. Every failure brings with it a seed of an equivalent advantage. Step 17. Be persistent. Persistence is an essential factor for transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent. And the basic of persistence is willpower. Willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an invincible pair. Persistence is a state of mind, therefore it can be cultivated. Like all state of mind, persistence is based upon definite cause. Among them, these first, definiteness of the purpose. Knowing what you want or want to accomplish is the first and perhaps the most important step toward developing persistence. A strong motive forces you to surmount many difficulties. Desire, it is comparatively easy to acquire and maintain persistence in pursuing the object of intense desire. Faith, faith, believing in your ability to carry out a plan, encourages you to follow the plan through the persistence. See step 8 for more about faith. Definite a plan, organized plan, even though they may be weak or entirely impractical, encourage persistence. Accurate knowledge, accurate knowledge, knowing that one's plan are sound based upon experience, observation encourages persistence. Guessing instead of knowing destroy the persistence. Cooperation, sympathy, understanding, and harmonious cooperation with others tend to develop a persistence. Willpower, the habit of concentrating one's thought upon building a plan for the attainment of definite purpose leads to persistence. Habit, persistence is a direct result of habit. The mind absorbs and becomes the part of the daily experiences upon which it fed. Fear, the worst of all enemies, can be effectively cured by forced repetition of act of courage. Everyone who has seen active service in the war known this. Ask the first 100 people you meet when they want most in life, what they must want in life, and 98 of them will not able to tell you. If you press them for an answer, someone will say security, many will say money, a few will say happiness, other will say fame and power, and still other will say social recognition, ease of living, ability to sing, dance, or write. But none of them will be able to define this term or give us slightest indication of a plan by which they hope to attain this vaguely, vaguely expressed wishes. Riches do not respond to wishes, they respond only to definite desire, executed according to definite plan with persistence. Distinguish between persistence and the ruthlessness. People who accumulate great fortune are often misperceived as a cold-blooded or the ruthless. When they are merely persistent, what they have is willpower mixed with the persistence and the placed behind their desire to ensure the attainment of their objective. Ruthlessness involves a lack of pity or the compensation, the trampling of other people's interests in a pursuit of one's own. Although some wealthy individuals truly are ruthless, and the vast majority of those who achieve and maintain wealth, do so without the intention of unfairly exploiting others. Henry Ford was often misconstrued as a being ruthless and cold-blooded. The misconception grew out of the Ford's habit following through in all of his plans with persistence. The majority of plans are ready to throw their aim and purpose overboard and give up the first sign of opposition or misfortune. A few carry on despite all opposition until they attain their goal. These few are the Fords, Carnegie's, Rockefeller, and the Edison. There may be a heroic connection to the old persistence, but the quality of character what carbon is to still. Check yourself for symptom of lack of persistence. Take inventory of yourself and determine in the what particular, if any, you are lacking in the essential quality of persistence. Measure yourself courageously, point by point, and see how many of the 16 factors of persistence you lack. The analysis may lead to the discoveries that will give you a new grip on yourself. Here you will find the real enemies that stand between you and the noteworthy achievement. Not only the symptom indicating weakness or the persistence, but also the deeply seated subconscious causes of this weakness. Study the list carefully and face yourself squarely. If you really wish to know who you are and what you are capable of doing, these are the weaknesses that must be overcome by all who accumulate riches. First, fear of criticism. Fear of criticism. Failure to create plan and put them into action because of what people will think, do or say. This enemy belongs to the head of list because it generally exists in the own subconscious mind where its presence is not recognized. For more about overcoming six basic fears that stand in the way of success. See step 3. Failure to recognize and clarify the clearly, clearly define exactly what you want. Failure to recognize and to clearly define exactly what you want. Procrastination with or without cause, usually backed up with a formidable area of excuses. Lack of interest in acquiring specialized knowledge. Indecision, the habit of passing the buck on all occasions instead of facing issues squarely, also backed by the excuses. The habit of relying upon excuses instead of creating definite plan for the solution of problem. Self-satisfaction. There is but little remedy for this application and no hope for those who suffer from it. Indifference usually reflected its own readiness to compromise on all occasions rather than meet opposition and fight it. The habit of blaming others for one's mistake and accepting unfavorable circumstances as being unavoidable. Weakness of desire due to neglect in the choice, motives, and the impulse action. Willingness, even eagerness to quit the first sign of defect. The characteristics that often arise from one or more of the six basic fear as described in step 3. Lack of organized plan in writing where they may be analyzed. The habit of neglecting to move on idea or to grasp opportunity when it presented itself. Wishing instead of willing. The habit of compromising with poverty instead of aiming at riches. The general absence of ambition to be, to do or to own. Searching for all the shortcuts to riches, trying to get without giving a fair equivalent, usually reflected in the habit of gambling or endeavoring to drive sharp bargains. The acid test for the persistence. Continue to read through the end of this chapter, then go back to step 5. Develop a burning desire and perform a 6 step to transmute desire to riches. Eagerness, the eagerness with which you follow this instruction will indicate clearly how much or how little you really desire to accumulate money. If you find that you are indifferent, you may be sure that you have not yet acquired the money consciousness which you must possess before you can be sure of accumulating a fortune. Develop or strength your persistence. Develop and strengthen your persistence. There are 4 simple steps that lead to the habit of persistence. They call for no great amount of intelligence, no particular amount of education, and but little time or effort. That necessary steps are nurture your desire until you have burning desire. Nurture your desire until you have burning desire for fulfillment. The ease with the ease with which the lack of persistence may be conquered depends upon the intensity of one's desire. Follow the instruction on step 6 on auto suggestion to impress upon your mind a clear picture of object of your desire. To formulate a definite plan to fulfill your desire. A plan is a bring. A plan is a bridge for which you from what you imagine to its physical manifestation, reinforcing what your faith is ultimately receiving that which you desire. See step 14 for more about organized planning. Execute 3. Execute your plan with continuous action. You may find it necessary to snap out of your mental inertia by moving slowly at first, then increasing your speed until you gain complete control over your will. Be persistent no matter how slowly you may. At first, have no move. With persistence will come success. Close your mind. Close your mind tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestion of relative, friend, and acquaintance. Acquaintance. Discouraging influence interject doubt, which is the opposite of faith. 5. Force a friendly alliance with one or more person who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. If you select your mastermind group with care, you will have in it at least one person who will aid you in a development of persistence. Turn on chapter 3 for the instruction to assembling your mastermind group. Weak desire bring weak result, just as a small amount of fire make a small amount of heat. Okay, understand, brother?